Is your leadership committed to quality? In today's video, we will discuss how the engagement of top management is vital and essential to the success of your organization's quality management system. Hello, my name is Ethan West. In this video, we're going to discuss an essential, critical issue that you can take back to your organization's leadership, which is the specific requirements related to top management and ISO management system standards. Did you know that top management has specific requirements to fulfill in meeting the requirements of a management system standard, especially ISO 9001? That's right, it's the top management. They need to be engaged precisely in order to strategically fulfill the functions and objectives of this management system. So, in this video, we're going to discuss some of the commitments, some of the requirements that are mandatory for the engagement and involvement of top management during the execution, implementation, and achievement of results of this management system. Let's go. The aim of ISO 9001 in defining top management as responsible for several of the requirements is precisely to achieve alignment between the vision and mission of that company and the operationalization of that mission and vision. So, when top management is involved and defines the strategies, guidelines, and directives that the organization needs to follow, it defines its management system structure. That's when you have the translation of the strategy into the operation, and then you have a much better chance of achieving the results you want. At the end of the day, what we want with the management system is to guarantee that our objectives have a structure for being met and achieved. So when top management brings its strategic vision, it brings the mission, the vision of that organization, why it exists, and what it wants to achieve as an organization. It needs to have a translation system so that this is operationalized by the company and the various sectors. So, by making top management responsible for some of the requirements, for example in establishing the policies of this management system, ISO is forcing the company to think strategically. So, like a good practice manual, what is ISO trying to achieve? The first requirement we're going to discuss is precisely translating the strategic vision into a vision that can be delivered and systematized. So, an initial requirement for holding senior management accountable has to do with establishing the management system policy. The management system policy, it must contain various commitments. It must indicate what the objectives are. It has to lay the foundations for establishing the objectives of this management system. So the policy has to be clearly aligned not only with the context of this company, but with what is the vision of this organization. What is top management seeking when implementing a management system? Or is it seeking to deliver value? And there, in the management system policy, you're going to say what the organization's values, vision, and mission are. You don't have to write that this is the mission and vision, but that's it. It has to be translated for everyone in the company. Why? Because this policy will be disseminated to everyone in the organization. So, a well-defined policy will make sense, and it will be clear to anyone who is going to understand and read it that the policy, has to understand what the core is, what the essence of that company is, that it is seeking, what it has as a clear objective. So top management has this requirement, it has this obligation within the management system, which is precisely to be able to define its strategies, so that this policy serves as a basis for establishing clear objectives for this management system. So the first step is to define a policy that has to do with your context, your vision, your mission, that has commitments to meeting legal requirements, commitments to continuous improvement in the delivery of products and services, and also that it serves as a basis for establishing the objectives of your management system. So, as a result of establishing a good policy, we will have well-defined goals and objectives. They guide the organization's strategy in order to achieve results. So the setting of objectives is also part of the requirements and mandatory requirements to go to senior management. Also, on the points that the involvement of top management is fundamental and critical concerns, the understanding of people's awareness. The communication of this policy to the people in the organization is when the people who work in that organization understand that top management is really committed, really interested, and really cares about those results, that policy. It touches the will of the employees to really deliver that value. It makes sense. So when people read the policies, when they understand the objectives, they need to understand that it has been clearly communicated. If senior management has a communication channel, if they have a way of deciphering a policy that has been written, it's often there. There's a board on the wall of the organization. It's very important that the top management somehow manages to translate this to the top leadership, the top management, and, if possible, all the actors in the organization collaborating so that everyone can be aligned with the same strategies. This is the goal of senior management and being able to communicate what is critical and relevant, any delivery of value that needs to be done. So, one of the requirements also concerns clear and adequate communication from senior management regarding their strategies, their vision, and their objectives. And finally, one of the mandatory requirements is for top management to participate in a very important event. A very important requirement of all ISO standards, which is critical analysis by management, has a requirement in Session 9, which will oblige top management to participate in this moment of critical analysis of the management system, which is precisely when all the results of this management system are presented and discussed, and when you plan what the next cycle is going to be like, when the organization understands that this is an essential core management tool, critical to the business. It changes the entire format of this management system. So we can use this moment, this requirement, and this moment of evaluating results as one of the fundamental tools for involving senior management. Many companies complain that senior management is not involved. When you make a results presentation that is very strategic, that shows the impact of the management system, shows the impact of your processes, the results of these processes for senior management. Do you understand which risks are being corrected? What opportunities are being overlooked? It's very important that this is clear at the moment of presenting the results. During the critical analysis, because that's the aim of the ISO management system standards, by making critical analysis by management a mandatory monitoring requirement. So use it strategically. This is a powerful tool. It's an essential moment of mandatory senior management involvement, but it's also good business practice. Look at the objectives, establish outputs, and establish what resources are going to be defined from then on, what the points for improvement are, and then there's a commitment from everyone to deliver better results. So, I hope you've been able to see the critical moments, the main points where top management needs to be involved in a management system and use them as business tools and to obtain results. How does it work in your company? Do you have any good practices that you can share with us here in the comments on how to involve senior management in your management system? Leave your comment here and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can receive more content like this and continue this conversation on other occasions. Thank you. See you next time.